What is up, everybody? Welcome to Sixers Postgame Live. Sixers get the L, 111-104, breaking down reaction, takeaways, player of the game, more. Joining us, he is Mitch Kofsky. What's going on, man?
Where do I begin? Where's the no foul call at the end? 23 offensive rebounds to our 9. I mean, like, what? Hey, smart job putting Batum in there. A little too late, though. A little too late for that.
Also joining us, he is Sean. Give him a follow next at Sean_Brown1. What's up, Sean?
Yeah, a lot to get into there. Obviously, an emotional roller coaster with the Joel Embiid stuff in the first half and him coming back, scrapping out in the second half. Overall, still, I feel pretty solid about that game, but definitely one that you want to get in the win book. So a lot to get into.
I think, like, my initial frustration with this one as I'm trying to share the box score is that, like,
It was there.
It was there. You basically played your ass off against Jalen Brunson, holding him to what? Like, very minimal from the field. 8 of 26, 1 of 6 from 3. Major shout out to Kelly Oubre for busting his ass pretty much all game long, and they didn't get the W. At the end of the day, I feel like this game was about complementary basketball. It was about guys, role players, stepping up and hitting their shots. Josh Hart, Deuce McBride, guys like that. And it wasn't enough. The Sixers role players didn't have enough juice tonight. And they hit shots. We didn't. The zone didn't work for Nick Nurse in the fourth quarter. We're going to get into all of that. But, guys, if you're watching this live, please be sure to comment your take on this one. This one hurts. This one really hurts because it was, like Sean said, right there for the taking. They came back. They battled. At the end of the day, the Knicks hit shots, and the Sixers did not. Sean, where do we go from here? You lead us off, man.
So I think this series fully comes down to what the status of Joel Embiid is. That looked scary in the first half. That little sequence right there is the epitome of Joel Embiid. That the talent is there, the theatrics, whatever you want to call him. He's one of the most talented players to ever touch a basketball floor, but his body just fails him so consistently. So to go from the highest of the highs to just an awesome highlight play to the lowest of the lows to him laying on the floor and grasping at that knee to really the future of these Sixers being fully held in the balance, I think fully dictates that. But with that all being said, if he's healthy, and to be honest, he looked better than I expected in that second half, and we might not know the extent of how hurt he is until after this series is over or after the playoffs are over. The bottom line is the Sixers are the better team. If he's fully remotely close to himself, I think they're more talented than this Knicks team. That I'm overall still think it was mostly net positives today. There's stuff to clean up. The offensive rebounding was unexcusable, but I will live and die with Josh Hart shooting 3-pointers like that down the stretch. They did an awesome job on Brunson. They look prepared coming out. So I overall still feel pretty good about things. And I think if Joel Embiid is maybe 65% of himself or better, the Sixers win this series. So we'll see how it shakes out. But that was one that we wanted pretty bad.
Yeah, the problem with Joel Embiid is nothing we haven't seen before with the Philadelphia 76ers. Like I tweeted, like death taxes and the Sixers not being able to figure out the non-Embiid minutes on the freaking basketball court. That was the biggest problem in this one. It's an issue when Embiid was a plus 14 on the court in a Sixers loss, another playoff game. Meanwhile, I thought B-Ball Paul had a pretty decent game. Pretty much everyone else just failed around him. But those minutes with Embiid off the court continue to be the Achilles heel, like the issue on this basketball team that we have said over and over and over again. Mitch, what's your thoughts?
How much longer is Tobias Harris going to be in the starting lineup? Dude, I mean, I can't take it anymore. I just can't. Can you please put Batum back? Put Batum in there. I don't care. Put Paul Reed in there. Anyone but Tobias, please. I can't take it anymore. I just can't.
The one I lost my mind on, so two things here. Number one is that I thought Nurse made the decision. I thought we were closing without Tobias, and then he checked back in with 2:18 on the clock. The one that I lost my mind out, and I tweeted out this play, the OG Anunoby 3, That was Tobias is like so lost defensively, and it's basic basketball stuff, man. It's know your rotations, know where you're supposed to be, and that pushed the lead from 4-7 with under 2 minutes left to play. That was such a back-breaking three, and that's purely on Tobias. And to go a step further, that's purely on Nick Nurse for having him in that spot. There's just no reason for that to be the case, but it's so frustrating for a dude that's the consummate professional, the ultimate veteran, that you're making these basic basketball mistakes of just not knowing where you're supposed to be, man. It's embarrassing stuff, and it really cost them this game to an extent.
The perimeter defense was horrible all across the board, but the rebounding, the lack of rebounding, especially with Tobias, like that's all I want Tobias Harris to do. Just box out, stop being a soft bitch, push people around, get the board, and maybe hit a three once in a while. That's all I want him to do, and he can't even do that. The dude looks mentally checked out, Sean. He looks checked out. Yeah. Why is he on the court, man? I was screaming at it throughout the fourth quarter. I was expecting him to check out. He's still in the basketball game. That's Nick Nurse. That's not Tobias. Yep. We all know what Tobias Harris is. We all know what he isn't, most importantly. Why is he still on this court, man?
It's embarrassing stuff. And to take it a step further, like when you speak about the non-Embiid minutes, I throw a ton of that on Tobias Harris because offensively is where it really felt like they stuttered and they just kept running. Like they're running Tobias pick and roll sets with him as the ball handler. It's like, why are we trying to do this at this point? You should be playing through Tyrese Maxey, playing through Kelly Oubre. Hell, play through Kyle Lowry on a night like tonight where he has it going. It doesn't make any sense. I don't understand, like, we have so much evidence for exactly who he is at this point in time. Nobody's changing who Tobias Harris is. He is who he is. So treat him as that. There's no loyalty to this dude. There's no, you have to play him. You have to give him this opportunity. The decisions have to be based around giving this basketball team the best chance to win. And it does feel like a night where in the playoffs, the margins are so slim. You gave such an advantage to the Knicks by just kind of leaning on this guy in a way that he just can't hold you up.
And I just don't understand it, too, because in those non-Embiid minutes, why the hell is he getting the damn basketball? You've got Tyrese Maxey in, feed Maxey the ball every single time.
Who's cooking tonight?
He was doing great. Maxey was killing it.
There were times in this game where Maxey was a little too passive in the first half, and then he turned it around in the second. But I just don't understand it because that's what Tobias Harris does. He kills your momentum every single freaking time he's on the court. He'll, shoot 3 times in a row or throw the ball away. It's just nauseating. Let's get some comments really quick. Tobias Harris played like Ed Harris tonight. I love it. Steven, I thought Sixers would get killed tonight and they lost the first two. Tough loss, but a great game. This is going to be a battle, man. This series is going to be tough as long as Joel Embiid stays healthy. Kyle Lowry says, Phil, I was wrong. He made an impact. Kyle Lowry was awesome tonight, man.
Yeah, he was.
Absolutely terrific.
Better than Pat Bev. Like, come on. If you didn't believe that, if you don't believe that now, what else do you need? What else do you need to actually prove to you that Pat Bev has a slight chance?
Lowry's a baller, man. He's a baller. He wasn't certainly the issue tonight. Steven says, I think this is our series as long as Joel can move. We'll see. I mean, Sean, are you scared at all about Embiid's health? You saw Butler return in the second half in the Heat game. What's your thoughts?
I definitely don't feel great about it. I think I definitely would have much preferred that not happen, that whole entire sequence of him going to the locker room and all those things. I think my honest assessment, and I just saw a couple of tweets saying Nurse didn't really say much post game. Basically, he was cleared by the medical staff at halftime. He's going to get further checked out after the game. So we'll see if we get any news there. But I think my honest feeling is it's still the same situation, that he doesn't fully trust that knee. The knee is not quite up to the speed. I know Steven has mentioned the scar tissue issue, and that may very well be what's going on with him. I think he just is what he is, and it's not going to be a 100% version of Joel Embiid. I think the reality is he's going to soldier through these playoffs. He's going to be the best him he can be. To give him credit, he moved far better in the second half than I would have expected. That he looked mostly himself, and some of those passes were unbelievable. But I think the reality is this isn't going away. This is a playoffs long issue, and whatever version of Joel we get on a nightly basis, that's kind of what they have to deal with.
Yeah. Raheem's in the house. Thanks for joining. Can't wait for game 2 on Monday. It's going to be a great game. Shoot the shots. Media's in the house. Really thought we needed that win. Can't do anything about Hart. That last shot Josh Hart made was just brutal.
Wild.
Absolutely brutal. I'm still shocked. Oh my gosh, all these ads. Get out of here.
I'm done with ESPN, bro. I'm
Look at
done
that.
with it.
That was crazy. Forget
I'm
that.
done with
I'm not
that.
even gonna do that. Even if Sixers lose game 2, I still feel solid. Nurse can figure it out. Josh killed us on rebounds. Thanks for joining, Marshawn Lynch. Everybody killed us on rebounds. How many? I mean, even like Brunson had how many offensive boards? And to be fair on the Sixers, like I feel like things just didn't go the Sixers' way in many respects. Like the long rebounds went to the Knicks. I feel like every single freaking time. I'm every call in the book. This one. The Bull RJ says Embiid don't look that hurt though. Mark's in the house. Maxey was great with Joel Embiid on the floor. Bad when he wasn't. That is the storyline for the last 7 years. Mr. Rudy Poo says other fan bases were not lying when you said Knicks get away with a lot of fouls. Knicks agenda is nasty. We're not going to talk about that. I don't want to go there because we would get bombarded by a lot of people.
My Twitter mentions are hot right now.
I believe that. Buddy Hield finished this one 0 of 1 from 3, was a minus 16 in 10 minutes. Buddy Hield, if he's not shooting threes, what are we doing? Yeah. That's the sad reality there. Although I thought he played okay defense. He was contesting some shots. But at the end of the day, it's not enough. Tobias got cooked on that Anunoby 3. Rebounds have been a problem all year. I mean, that's what this Knicks team is. Like, that shouldn't shock anybody when you're getting killed on the glass. This Knicks team is very good at offensive boards. Buddy was straight up balls. GSC play. Reed with Embiid. It's never going to happen. Bede, Reed, and Batum, Lowry, Maxey down the stretch. Beat them with the – I kind of like this plan. Any thoughts on that? That would be a chess move.
Yeah, I think they might have to. That the rebounding is quite clearly like where the Knicks destroyed the game tonight, that opened things up, and that's been the book on them. The guy like Josh Hart is, despite his size, one of the premier rebounders in the entire sport of basketball. That he just crashes the boards at such a relentless pace, gets up skies for him. And B-Ball Paul, to his credit, I thought was very good at the moments that he did get tonight. I'm curious if Nick Nurse is ready to kind of make that type of zag and change things up, but it does feel kind of necessary. And especially if Joel's not fully trusting that knee and willing to jump up and get up for boards. They've been like a fine rebounding team when Joel's on the floor. They've been a really bad team rebounding when he's not there. And to be honest, like, Joel is not an elite rebounder by any means. That he has plenty of games with 7 and 8 rebounds. It's something that he gets them by default because he's 7'2", but he's not a guy that I would say has that rebounding skill. And I do think Paul Reed kind of does. So I would love to see it. I'm not ultra confident that Nick Nurse does.
Yeah, I agree. I hate complaining about Joel Embiid because he was hurt, but like there were times, especially in the fourth quarter, where he just simply was not boxing out and got in the glass. Council's better than Harris. There's no question. Like there's at least Council will give you rebounding. He'll attack. He'll get downhill. He'll get to the free throw line. I don't have any concerns about Ricky Council in this moment. Like he's got that confidence that I don't think he'd get affected by that. So, but that's something, Mark, that we have been talking about on the show for a long time, and it's just not going to happen at this point. Bench has to give more. That's why I said at the start of the show, man, this was just evidence of complementary players, man. It's one of the Sixers' biggest weaknesses. It's one of the Knicks' biggest strengths. It's not going to be about the stars in this series. You know, Deuce McBride, Josh Hart, all those guys came to play today. The Sixers have to be better across the board. Nick Batum only was 1 of 4 from 3-point range. Buddy Hield 0 of 1. Cam Payne only played 2 minutes. But the role players have to be way better. I give Kelly Oubre somewhat of a pass given his defensive assignment, but here we are. People really thought Embiid would be healthy come playoff time. Joel was gassed the last 10 minutes. Yes, JoJo shots were a little too short. I don't know what we do with Joel Embiid, Sean. Like he didn't have his legs in the second half. It was beyond obvious. So clearly, like if he's going to rely on those jump shots, it's a problem. It's a big problem. So teams are going to dare him to drive, right? Like I don't know.
And it especially sucks because he looked so good early on in this game. Like the kickoff to this game, the quick 9 points that he scored and the way that he was attacking, the acrobatic and ones, like everything was clicking. And really until right after that dunk, immediately after that dunk. And I don't really know what you go from here because like clearly there's still a significantly better team with him on the floor. They can't win without him. We all know that. So you have to like ride or die with this version of Joel. You just got to kind of deal with it and hope at this point. And like coming into this game specifically, I was of the mindset that like he's going to get better throughout these playoffs from like playing himself into shape, getting more comfortable with that knee. If it's going to be stuff like this, even if he didn't re-injure it, if we're going to have issues like this where it's either giving out or he's not trusting it or whatever the case be, like how realistically can we believe in this going on for a playoff run? So it's super frustrating. I don't have a clear answer for it. And I think like basically you just got to deal with it and hope at this point.
Can we call it as it is, man? I'm just going to say it because Joel Embiid cannot throw that off the backboard and put it back with one hand and land with one leg. It's just what it is. Embiid, yeah. I love Embiid. You know, Sean, like he's one of my favorite players ever. Yeah. But he simply lacks the awareness to keep himself healthy. He has no awareness of his limitations. I don't understand why he's trying to play hero ball in that moment. It made no sense. And we have seen this over and over again where he's diving on the court for loose balls when he shouldn't be.
I'm not going to argue there. I can't argue with you there that it was sick for the very like 0.5 seconds before he landed that I was got up off the couch. Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. And then like, especially when he doesn't trust, like we've seen him pull this off successfully and it'd be fine. He did it this season against the Magic, but like you just got to know. And that's been a flaw of his. You got to understand. And it's so frustrating. And like the double-edged sword here. And I get like this example doesn't quite apply, but if he's not going all out, like then people are like, then what's the point of having him out here? Why is he even playing injured? And then when he goes too hard, he gets injured. But I do agree with you. The risk reward, like the way that scale tipped was not the right decision today whatsoever.
Just getting a generational player that can't stay healthy is literally the most Philly thing of all time.
Sucks, man.
Yeah, it's brutal. It's just brutal, man.
For me, why was he in the whole first quarter? That's my question. Why was he in there for the whole first? Huh?
Whole third quarter too.
Oh, okay.
He was in the whole third quarter, man.
Yeah. I'm like, why? I don't understand it. Like, come on, that's not common sense. I was like live streaming. I was like, why? Did we lose Dibes?
Yeah, he does look. He's back now.
Okay, cool. Wait,
maybe not. But yeah,
okay?
To your point, that like that's his normal substitution pattern when you think back to most of the regular season. But since he's come back, we have not seen that. So it's been like these short flashes, more kind of in and out for him specifically. So I guess it was them working him back to his true substitution pattern. I don't agree with it. I don't think it was the right route, but I guess that's kind of what they took of it. Dives, we have you back in action here.
Yeah, can you see me? I'm going in and out.
Yeah, you're good.
You're now, though.
You're good. Just my thing, right? I get you trying to get the big men in foul trouble. I get that with Mitchell Robinson, Hartenstein, who didn't play much, by the way. Hartenstein didn't even play much. So I'm like, okay, we got him out of the way. Now Mitchell Robinson, big bruiser. I get that. But you got to take care of your players, man.
Mm-hmm.
McBride killed us, man.
I predicted him to get 25, and he finished with 21.
Oh, that sucks.
I love McBride, dude. I love McBride.
Greg's in the house. Keep crying, you bozos. Knicks are much better. Greg, make sure you stay around. Make sure you hang out with us on Monday. Am I going out? Am I here? Can you hear me?
Cutting in and out.
In and out. Yeah. I was going in and out earlier too.
Yes. This is the worst. I hate it when this happens.
But to the Deuce McBride point here, and Mitch, I think you're right.
You hear
He's
me?
big time in X Factor. We got you now. You're back now.
Are you good now?
I don't know. Maybe I am for now.
Do you want to back out and come back in? Because that helps for me sometimes.
Yeah, just I'll be right back.
All right, we'll jump on the Deuce McBride conversation, but like one of my biggest driving forces of optimism for this Sixers team is like I feel that Jalen Brunson's really their only like primary initiator, the guy that can create offense from other. McBride, who's for the most part been a guy that's a bench player, a guy that like has seen his minutes go up and down throughout the year. That's the X factor and thing that changes things. And we saw him get a little extended leash, and he obviously proved his worth. So I totally agree with you, Mitch, that he's going to be a problem.
Yeah, McBride is a streaky shooter. I'm telling you, he's shooting like what 40% from three around there. So for me, I'm just like, yep, there's a deadly shooter and no one's talking about. They're all focused on Bogdanovich, not focused on McBride.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. You're back.
You look crisper now.
We'll see. We'll see how long. All right, we talked about Deuce McBride. We talked about Tobias Joel. Should we talk about Maxey?
Might as well. Did we lose you again?
I'm struggling here. Can you hear me? Yes or no?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tyrese Maxey was sensational in the second half, but did you guys have any issues with his play in the first? Like there were times when he wasn't aggressive enough. Any thoughts on that?
I think that's been kind of the struggle with him is like it still has not clicked fully in his brain how good that he is. That like there's moments where, dude, you can take over this game and he doesn't fully. And there were stretches where he did today, particularly getting downhill and attacking the rim. He was especially impressive today. His ability to shift gears and the shiftiness that he has really taken strides forward. Like he had the Knicks guessing every time that he was driving, and some of those Euro steps, those cuts through the lane and the up and under finishes, ridiculously advanced stuff. So I think he was very good tonight as a whole, but it still leaves me wanting more. That like, just go take over, go nuclear. You're capable of doing it, and the team could have used it a little more tonight. So yeah, I do agree with you that he was great. It's tough to complain about how well he played, finished with 33 points, but I do think that he could have gone nuclear to an extent that he just didn't.
Steven says Max needs to be a little better on D. He did have a couple blocks in this one on Brunson, which was really nice. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I just need to see him attacking downhill. That's got to be the bread and butter of Maxey in this series, especially with, Joel Embiid kind of at the top of the key, more kind of jump shooting in this series. Any thoughts, Mitch?
Maxey stepped up when he had to. In that third quarter with Kyle Lowry, Kelly Oubre locking up Brunson a little bit. He was doing his thing. I'm happy for Maxey. Like I said before, him closing out games. We didn't close it out tonight, but he stepped up when it mattered the most. We're witnessing that throughout his entire career right now.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
All right.
Can
you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah. Hey, at least you're doing better than Tobias. I'll give you that.
Similar in and out effort there than the Tobias Harris experience.
Yeah.
To the Maxey defense point, I still think it's an area where he's gotten significantly better from when he first came in the league. Like that was a big deal, high level weakness of his when he first came into the NBA as a whole. That has not been the case. And particularly this year, I think he took some significant strides forward. He's never going to be a all defensive first team type of guy. Like that's just not, but I do think he competed. I do think he held up on Brunson in a lot of situations. So I give him a lot of credit for fighting. That wasn't heavily in my dislike list, but I mean, the reality is like every weakness matters.
Yeah. Maxey's defense has progressively gotten better year in, year out. Right now, he did lock up Brunson a little bit there. Maybe we'll see something else on Monday. Kind of looking forward to his defense. Dodge, you back?
Does not look like it. But
yeah. Wait. We got you?
I don't know what's going on with my Wi-Fi tonight. Mm-hmm. It's a loss at this point.
I think it was.
I didn't hear a word you guys.
talked a little bit about Maxi's defense, particularly how I still think he's progressing at a rate that I'm very impressed with, considering where he came into the league. And to bring up the Buddy Hield stuff a little bit, I was disappointed in Buddy. I think more than we acknowledged to this point that, like, particularly in that bench unit, it felt like there was a period where we just needed an offensive jolt from somebody, and Buddy Hield was that guy who got that opportunity, and he just didn't do it. Like, it's frustrating how underwhelming he's become. This was the first playoff game of his career. And then late in the game, there was that 3-point look that he had that just felt so massive and it rimmed right out. Those are ones that you just need. So Buddy did not come through for the Sixers tonight. And it wouldn't surprise me if that's going to directly correlate to his minutes decreasing moving forward.
Yeah, for sure. Should we get to player of the game?
Let's do it.
Might as well. Can you internet take it?
I don't know. We'll see. Let's talk about players of the game. All right, player of the game. Who you going with, Sean?
To lead it off here, I'll give it to Joel Embiid here. I'm taking the big fella that, like, even him not being 100% of himself, I respect him just battling through, and it's just so night and day when he's on the floor and when he's not with this team. So he's still the center of everything they do. Still finished with 29 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists, and some straight up dimes in that second half. The pass to Oubre and then the full court pass was ridiculous. So I'll give it to Embiid because he's still the centerpiece of this team. He still fully decides whether or not they can win the series, regardless of what percentage he's at.
Yeah, it just shows you how much Embiid just covers up all the mistakes and the areas of weaknesses on the Sixers basketball team, man. Even playing hurt, it's amazing what he does on the basketball court. And like you said, like that bounce pass to Oubre in transition, he put English on it. Like that was one of the best passes from Embiid ever.
Yeah.
Awesome. It just sucks. It is a loss. Mitch, player of the game.
I got to go with Tyrese Maxey here. Tyrese Maxey stepping up when it mattered the most, a little bit on the defense, locking up Brunson there. Hey, he's stepping up when it mattered the most. And Joel Embiid, when he went down, Maxey was like, okay, let me pick it up, especially in that third quarter with Kyle Lowry. It was Lowry and Maxey in that third quarter. Maxey for me.
Mm-hmm. Let's see, Dives, we got you. What are you thinking?
This is brutal, man. I'm sorry.
All good. Who you got for your player?
My back? Oh my God! Yep. I'm ready to throw my computer. My player of the game. My player of the game is Kyle Lowry. Lowry was excellent tonight. Hit a big 3 there in the fourth quarter to cut the Knicks lead, but 4 of 7 from 3, 18 points plus 6. He only had 2 assists, but just continues to be the leader on the court. So give me Kyle Lowry in this one. Before my Wi-Fi completely shits the bed, let's go to grades. Won't you give me sweetness and light for my restless mind? Please give me a way to escape this world gone astray. You could give me a little peace of mind. All right. Mark says another downside of Embiid's 2-month absence was delaying the trial of Embiid-Reed pairing. That's true. What sucks about this game too was like that first quarter, Embiid like looked great. Like, like he looked night and day better than 4 quarters of the Heat game, and just sucks that he got hurt again. All right, Sean, how would you grade tonight's performance?
I give tonight a B-. That overall, I'm still pretty satisfied with the way they played, particularly that first quarter. They looked so prepared, like they knew exactly their game plan, executed at a high level, and Embiid looked terrific. The third quarter, the ability to punch back after myself personally, and I'm sure that was felt within the locker room, the Embiid going down, how much of just a hit to the heart and just down in the dumps feeling that was. The fact that they did respond and come out and compete, I do think is worth noting. I think overall they played pretty solid tonight, that there was more good than bad, but it's tough not to be completely optimistic because that was a winnable game that was within reach. So I'll give it a B- for the overall level of play, but definitely a unsettling taste in my mouth that did not come out to a victory.
So for me, I'll have to
What
go
about
with
you,
a
Mitch?
B-. Yeah. So for me, I'll have to go like a B-. I'm actually, you know what? I'll give it a C+, just for the fact that Embiid played the entire first quarter and third quarter. I mean, that was unacceptable. You've seen him go down, especially in that second quarter. Now in the third, you have him in the entire time. Like, come on. I get the whole fouling bait thing. I get it. But for me, for that, C+. We got you?
Can you hear me?
Yep.
I got delays now. I'm sorry, guys. This is brutal. Never fun to deal with this thing, but anyway, I'm gonna go like I'll go with Sean, C+. I think there were times in this game where Maxey and Embiid were cooking, and I think it bodes well for the series moving forward. I think they got good shots. I think there were times when the ball movement was very good. I just think they got to clear up the rebounding. They have to clear up the perimeter defense, and I'm still okay with this loss in respect that Embiid and his health is fine. So let's throw it to Sean. Final thoughts on this game, plugs, wrap it up.
Yeah, we got 4 more wins to find a way to get to. That I don't think this series is over by any means. This was definitely a winnable one that they had a chance at tonight, and frustrating that they were not able to jump on top. But I still think that they can look this Knicks team eye to eye, and then the Sixers are the more talented team as fully constructed. We did get the news Joel Embiid did decide not to speak to the media following the game, so we'll see if there's any updates. Anything to come out of that. But the bottom line is I think this is fully dependent on the level of his health. But if he's capable of playing the length of this series, I still think the Sixers win this in the 7-game span. If he is not, then I think this thing is as good as gone. So we'll see how things shake out from here, but I don't think this series is over. As far as for me, you guys can follow me on Twitter at Sean_Bernard1. Check out the work on Pick Swap Media on all platforms. And also I will be dropping a video on Sixers Digest talking a little bit about the Embiid injury and kind of the outlook from here as well. So stay posted for that.
Mitch.
So my final thoughts on this game: it was hard fought, went down to the wire. There was no foul call at the end. You didn't go for a foul. You didn't try to stop the clock. You just gave up. That was the most disappointing thing for me. That's not the Philly I know. So for me, you can find me on YouTube at Mitch Toxie, Twitter Mitch Toxie, and the Hardcore Sports Network, and Edge of Philly Sports every Thursday for a Fly Like an Eagle podcast.
All right. Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
All right. I'm just going to wrap up. Thank everyone for watching. Hopefully Monday we'll have better technical issues, but thank you for everyone who commented. We'll see you on Monday night for Sixers versus Knicks Game 2. He is Sean. Give him a shout out on X at Sean_Bernard1. He is Mitch at Mitchkowski. Stay awesome, everyone.